Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, back with another thrilling installment of Master Quest, which I've actually already recorded. Yeah, I just had, not a failed recording session by any means, but I just recorded this episode, but there is no way I can, in all good conscience, edit that and upload it and say that it's some of my best work. It was, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I just lacked direction. I didn't really have any plans for what I was doing, but I did definitely start by showing off this cutscene, because technically, you're supposed to come straight back here as soon as you do the forest temple, or even, you get the hookshot, come back here, then Sheik will say, nope, sorry, still can't use the Master Sword pedestal thing, you need to go and awaken Saria, and then come back once you've done that. But we did a whole dungeon better than that, rescued Saria, rescued Darunia, and now we're back here now. And it would have been a bit more convenient to do this one dungeon sooner, because our reward for coming back is in fact another warp song, which this one allows us to teleport straight to the Temple of Time, because it has one of those medallion pedestals. In fact, that's where we spawned at the start of this episode, and, well, that's where you spawn when you start up the game as Adult Link if you're not inside a dungeon when you last saved. So here we go, Prelude of Light. Don't really care for this song, but I'll stay quiet anyway. I mean, it sounds pretty enough, but wait until you hear the full duet version. Now, consider the fact that we're probably going to be warping back to the Temple of Time a lot, which means we'll be hearing that duet a lot. It's not very pleasant. I don't think it's that bad. It's just, I don't know, it just sounds really lethargic and not very entertaining. Now, by all rights, we should probably get started on the next dungeon in this episode, because in order to access the third adult dungeon, we need to do a mini dungeon leading up to it, but no, I think first we'll just return the Master Sword to its pedestal. And here's the thing that doesn't really make much sense. So, Child Link was put into a 7-year sleep so that he could grow up into the hero of time. So that's how he travels from the past to the future. How does he travel back then? Does the Master Sword put him into some sort of weird reverse sleep or something? But anyway, sure enough, we are back in the past, or the present, relative to when we started the game. And I don't know why I'm walking out of the temple. My first destination is, in fact, demonstrative of the fact that we can use warp songs as Child Link and they still work. And I think this is my first time showing off a warp song as well. Possibly, maybe, I don't remember. See, that's the problem when you record really far in advance and then not edit at the rate you record. And bear in mind, at this point, I'm like 7 or 8 weeks like today is the 16th of February. I'm that far in advance with all the recordings and stuff, and I would like to head into the Fire Temple as Child Link, but the entrance is blocked off. So, yeah, there's a dirt patch right here. In the failed recording, I went to some of... I tried to deal with more of these bean patches, and I have on my wall like a whiteboard thing where I've written down a table of every single dirt patch in the game, and I'm quite proud of the fact that I wrote that table from memory. Like, I remembered where, because there are 10 in total, and I wrote each one down just from memory. I'm quite proud of that. But I've abbreviated them each to 2-letter or 3-letter abbreviations, and in the failed recording, I noticed that I hadn't planted the magic bean in KV, which, for some reason, I thought referred to Kokiri Forest, because my brain misread it as Kokiri Village. But no, where else is K-something village in this game? I'll meet you there. Okay, here we are. Quite why I felt it necessary to abbreviate the location of every single dirt patch in the game, I don't know. My brain just was functioning on autopilot, apparently. And nope, just beans. I very nearly, just like in the failed recording, I very nearly pulled out the bugs. Like, no, this was the first place we got the Skulltulae patch thing from. Grammar was this. This was the first place that we put bugs into a patch of dirt in order to get gold Skulltulae. But there's also this one that we didn't get before because it was up there and we couldn't get it, and now we have a boomerang so we can. Words are quite clearly my forte this evening. And I should mention, considering, as I said, I'm 7 or 8 weeks ahead of schedule as it is, I don't have to record this now. There is no pressure for me to record this now, but as is in keeping with my well, the tradition of the series at this point, my next guest will be joining me on Thursday of this week, and so I'm trying to accommodate that. And I really shouldn't be getting myself bent out of shape like this just to, as I said, 7 or 8 weeks ahead of schedule. I shouldn't even tell my guests that I'm ready for them to record with me at this point. I should just chill for a while, but nope, this is the way I'm doing things, and I'm okay with it because I'm that hyped to play this game. And I was actually talking to my next guest on Skype fairly recently about this exact issue, I suppose, that I'm recording this so far in advance, and I'm really excited to play the game and continue playing. And I'm not sure where this train of thought is going, but my point is, I'm just very excited to play this game, and that does come somewhat at the expense of not being as hyped to play another Code R, except when I record that, I'm perfectly, once I start recording, I don't have any problems with recording it. It's just working up the motivation to start recording it, and oh, did I already get that? Well, that makes me sad. I was going to come back over here and grab the contents of that box. Well, there is one other thing that I showed in the failed recording. Well, it wasn't the recording that failed, it was me. That I'm tempted to just not show because it was somewhere that we have no reason to be. So, punch the microphone. Give me a moment to think about where I need to go next, because I think I've done everything that I need to do. In fact, I don't even need to do any of this. You know what, I'll just shut up. See you in a moment. Okay, I didn't do this in the failed recording, but it just occurred to me. I was thinking, on the way to my next destination, how I kind of resent the fact that I'm still wearing the Goron tunic, because, you know, everyone wears the Goron tunic, everyone thinks it's the height of bloody fashion and all that. But no, don't get back on the beanstalk, you nitwit. Free heart piece, right there. Also, that's what the beanstalks grow into, by the way. They grow, the beans, when we plant them, they grow into these planty things. And it comes back around. There's another heart piece over there that we might as well go and get as well, since we're here. Which, you can actually get that heart piece over there a lot sooner. You can get this as Child Link, actually. You just come in here, come into the volcano as a child, and then just climb down this wall, and you're golden. But I'm waiting until now, because fuck you, that's why. Now, Link, grab the edge, thank you. I was so worried that he might just jump off the edge because, oh, I've come up to an edge which I could hang on to, but no, I'm just going to jump off to make you look like an idiot. I just realised it is kind of funny that I cut away and then cut back in almost the same area of the game, but also equally funny, 2 heart pieces within, seeing distance of each other. And I suspect I may have to cut again because our next destination is pretty far from here, so give me a moment. Okay. Now, it was at this point in the recording session, in my failed recording session, that I decided, okay, I should probably go and get started on heading towards the 3rd dungeon, because I think I've already mentioned it is hard to keep track with a failed recording session, and now. But in order to access the next main dungeon, there's a mini-dungeon that we need to do first, which has also been tarted up in accordance with Master Quest standards, I suppose. But the difference is, in the failed recording session, because I was just bumbling around not really doing anything of note, I didn't actually go and get the 2 heart pieces from Death Mountain Crater, because I was just that sidetracked and had no idea what I was doing. And also because I went out of my way to go to an area that we didn't need to go. I went back to the Lost Woods, showed off a thing there that, admittedly, I've not shown off in this take, but that's because the prize for it is 50 rupees, and I'll show it off at some point, just not right now. And it was at this point that I was like, oh, look, this is what happens when you plant a bean and then come back to it, because this is what I referred to earlier as later in the game. Literally, time-wise, it's later. I think this one possibly might yield a heart piece if you jump off at the right point. I don't remember. I will, once I've beaten all of the main dungeons of the game, I will come back and do a montage of getting all the remaining heart pieces and gold Skulltulaes and whatnot. But, so there is a heart piece coming up that, the heart piece the 3rd heart piece of this video was the only one I got in the failed take. And that was the one that completed my heart container that I got in this episode. So we're going to get another heart container before we're done here. And also, you might notice I've not addressed the elephant in the room, these floaty-ass particle things. Well, here comes an explanation for them right now. Yeah, Zora's Domain, it's completely frozen over. By the way, my bitching about wearing the red tunic because everyone wears the red tunic inspired me to not wear the red tunic, and that's why I changed. So here we are. I did make a cack-handed reference to a cack-handed reference when I was here the first time, when I said, oh, this is a nice place, no pun intended. because I wasn't deliberately saying it's a n-ice place, but now it is literally a n-ice place. And, well, he's kind of stuck in a crystal of bloody meth. I don't know, it's red ice. That's the only explanation that the game gives. And I suppose the logic into coming here is, well, I mean, Navi tells you, oh, there's a cold wind blowing from Zora's fountain, go and check it out. But I suppose your logic is, well, in the child arc of this game, we went and solved the Kokiri's problems, then the Goron's problems, and then the Zora's. And so, we're repeating that here. And I'm not really sure what would drive you to come all the way back to Zora's fountain, apart from the fact that, okay, well, Zora's domain's frozen over, and there's nowhere else we can go. We could have gone and checked out Lake Hylian. This is the heart piece I was just talking about, by the way. I suppose you could go and check out Lake Hylian, but there's nothing for us there. Well, there is a thing for us there at the moment that I was talking about in the Fire Temple that I could have gone back to get, and I didn't, and I still haven't, because something's happened to Lake Hylian, and there's a cutscene that explains it, and I didn't want to show that before its time in the game. There is another heart piece here, by the way, at the very bottom of the lake, but we don't have the means of getting to it yet. And also, there's a glitch that I really want to show off, and I did dedicate some time to it in the failed recording. If you walk up this iceberg, I don't remember exactly how or where, if you walk up it or down it in just the right way, then you'll actually glitch into Jabu Jabu's belly as an adult. You're not supposed to be able to do it, because obviously Jabu Jabu isn't here in the future. In fact, this might be his frozen carcass for all I know. But I do know that the glitch that allows you to walk into the dungeon as an adult, they left that in the 3DS version, so you could do it. You could do it in a 3DS version, in 3DS Master Quest, 3DS Vanilla, the vanilla version of the game, any version of the game you could do this. I just don't remember exactly. I don't remember which side of the iceberg you have to be standing on. In the failed take, I tried a whole bunch of times on this side of the iceberg, and I kept falling off, and it's an absolute bitch to get back up here, because there's that gate there. So if you fall off this side of the iceberg, you have to swim all the way back around in order to come back and try again. And honestly, I don't remember how to do it, and so if I can't get it to work in these next couple of tries, then I'll just ignore it. And this actually means I'm going to have time to start the next dungeon, well, the mini-dungeon, in this episode, I think. That's convenient. Because in my failed take, I ended just outside the start of the next, well, the mini-dungeon, and it did occur to me earlier when I was going, okay, fuck it, I can't make this thing work now. I could be doing it could be on this side that you're supposed to do it, for all I know. I don't remember. It's been a while. I have made it work before. I have done it on the 3DS version and the vanilla version. I have tried it. But it did occur to me while I was heading to the Kakariko graveyard that there's a mini-dungeon that precedes the dungeon after this as well. And I think because we have the Song of Storms, I could go and do that now, because the only thing that's keeping you out is knowing the Song of Storms. In order to get the Song of Storms, you just have to be an adult. So that's a thing we could do now and sequence break a little, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Instead, we're going to head into the freshly master quested Ice Cavern. And I could swear that this opening corridor isn't present in the vanilla version, like they actually extended the map a little, but I don't think they did. For some reason, I feel like you just spawn here when you come into the dungeon in the vanilla version, but nope, that's not the case. But they do some They do some rather dickish shit in this version of the dungeon, though. Because, as you can see, there's loads of ice crystals and icy patterns and sort of off-tessellating hexagons in the floor. So everything's all crystally and pretty and shit. And what else is crystally and pretty and shit? Well, apart from those platforms, crystal switches. Yeah, they hide crystal switches in and among, and coloured ones no less, in and among the scenery of this dungeon. You'd be forgiven for not even seeing that that's there. Now, as you'll recall from the Forest Temple, the blue and red crystal switches are toggleable, so I believe you can turn this crystal wall back on. Now, you might wonder, what's coming in here got to do with the fact that the Zora King's been imprisoned in a crystal of red ice, and the game just calls it red ice. There's no other... Okay, see you later, Boulder. Is this thing still doing a thing? In the vanilla version of this game, there's like a pair of spinning ice blades in here that kill you. Well, they don't kill you, but they spin around and they do you a hurt. Also, White Wolfos, one of these is the final boss of this dungeon in the vanilla version. I don't remember what they... Did they change it in this version? I don't remember. Maybe they changed it to like 2 Grey Wolfos or something and Freezard! But those ice crystal statue things are called Freezards, and they walk up to you and they blow on you and you freeze, and it's not a fun time. I would make a joke about Brother Billy Dufreeze, but only 2 people will get that reference. One of them being my mother, and the other being the person who wrote that book. I'm just being even more referential. And we just opened this door over... I didn't even realise we had to fight that Wolfos. I just felt like picking a fight. I don't remember exactly what do in this version of the dungeon. Because it's a mini-dungeon. Who pays attention to the mini-dungeons? And, oh my goodness! Okay, I'm sorry, that sounds really forced. But this platform here, I didn't realise it was this well-formed in the original... Like, in the 3DS version, it's quite clearly, oh, this really fancy ice pedestal made of red ice. I didn't realise it was like that in the original as well, or, well, I think I knew, I'd just either forgotten or just never paid enough attention to notice, but look how pretty that is! But also in here, another elephant in the room, blue fire. Now, I should have shown this off sooner, but there are some shops in the game where you can just outright buy blue fire. And I've not bothered, because I've not even looked at any of the shops. But that's something that mystified me as a child. Oh, there's this blue fire that you can buy. Oh, sweet. I didn't even know that was there. Once again, I was just feeling fighty. I wanted to fight the Skulltulae, and it just led me to solving this room. But yeah, you could buy blue fire from the shops, but it's like 200 or 300 rupees. And so you can't get it very early in the game. This is where it occurs. You can come here and get it for free. It occurs naturally. It's really not costly. And Navi, I was literally just explaining this. Strange child. Now that does mean we're going to have to sacrifice some of our bottles. I'm not going to get rid of the bugs because there's still a couple of bug holes that we've yet to exploit. So let's just waste all the healing items. There's 5 huts worth of milk down the drain. Well, not down the drain, at least we consumed it. An entire fuck of healing from a fairy. And some more milk. Well, I suppose it's to my credit that I've not needed these thus far, because I've had that milk ever since I got the bottle. And I've had that fairy for several dungeons now, I don't remember exactly how many. And I would say that I've not needed any in this game at all, but no, I think I did die in the Forest Temple once. But yeah, this mini-dungeon, revolves quite heavily around blue fire. And bearing in mind, okay, blue fire, red ice, one melts the other, that's kind of the thing here. Bearing in mind the Zora King is trapped in red ice as well, we're gonna have to make sure we have at least one bottle of blue fire left over when we finish this mini-dungeon. That said though, looking at the time, I know I've got stuff to cut out this episode, I don't remember exactly how much, nowhere near as much as the failed recording session, by any means. But I should think about wrapping up fairly soon. I think I'll open the next room, and then save, and then carry on recording, but end the episode because fuck you, or... I don't know, I'm trying to be funny and referential of the fact that I'm going to record these back to back, so I'm definitely ready for my next guest, but... I'm sure all this talk of timing and stuff is getting really rather bothersome, so... Also, you can't bottle duplicate blue fire. And now I'm slightly worried that if I go back into that other room... Will this red ice respawn? Well, I'm gonna waste both bottles. I'm gonna go back and check, and then if this red ice does respawn because I left the room, then... hang on. No, there's more blue fire in this next room, so never mind. Just completely forget everything I just said. So I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons. You heard nothing as far as waffle goes. Meatball. I've been meatballed. I shall see you in the next episode, where we take on... Oh, this isn't the room I thought it was.